All right, in just a minute here, we are going to have the final game of the 2020 US TA TAC Open. I think that's what the name of it is called. But it's the tournament for the 2020 USTA Association, US TAC Association. And this is the final match because this is the playoff games for third place. And the playoff games for third place are actually two blitz games, and these blitz games are controlled by the time controls of 3 minutes plus a 5-second increment. So that's 3 minutes plus a 5-second increment, and that is going to be the blitz, and it's two games, I believe, and they just play pairs of games until somebody wins both games in the pair, I guess, and that determines who gets third place. And so our competitors are nqeron, who is the puzzle master, Mr. Puzzle guy, and nitzel, who is brand new, at least to my knowledge. This is his first tournament, but nqeron has played in a few other tournaments, and he also posts the daily TAC puzzles every weekday. So he is a veteran. nitzel is, I believe, pretty new to TAC and to the TAC community. So this should be an interesting match. It's great that he was able to get to this third place playoff. It's pretty awesome, actually. So it's great to see more than just the veterans in here into the end. And this game has begun from nqeron and nitzel. nqeron is got white first, nitzel with the black. And again, these are blitz matches. So, yeah, that's exciting. 3 minutes with a 5-second increment. This will be iffy. If they ever start. All right, letting them know that we're all set and ready to go. Let's see how this works out. And I'm rooting for both of them here. And again, third place does get a wolf and hawk capstone set, and those are metal capstones, and they're very nice. Okay, we see the adjacent corners and the mirrored play here off the beginning. Still going for that mirrored play. Will we see the deviation? We do see the deviation from black playing the capstone off to the side, ready to capture up and over, depending on where white goes with this. So white's going to keep building for this vertical threat. Black might build off to the side here, might start cutting off, might go for his own vertical here. There's a number of different options he can go for. So he's going to cut off here a little bit, maybe force white to play here at d6, and he does. If he hadn't played at d6, then black would have played there, and that would have had the makings of a horizontal threat. So that would have been really nice. So we see the capstone come over. He's done placing flats. He's going to make the first capture of the game. With the capstone is not as detrimental in the long term as a first capture with a flat. So capstone doing some work there. I would not be surprised to see black place down here at d2, which would sort of give him this connection going this way. But instead he's going to build off here to the side for a5, maybe go for a horizontal threat. All right, we see white filling at b6, e5. And again, they are under some tight time constraints. We do see nqeron playing only in the increment so far. nitzel has just used a few seconds of his time. We do see no tack threat yet. And that's where it's going to be hard because they're playing quickly. So it's going to be tough to see tack threats for them. So I do expect people to miss threats. There are no threats at the moment that I'm aware of. But we're seeing really close to a black threat here. White's got a little bit more to go for a threat. White can't make a threat too strongly here because you have to come over and then, or come up and then over to make one. So black has made the tack threat here. Can come over with uh, this piece to make that vertical threat. So we may see white make this move up, capturing c6. And he does, and that makes a tack threat for white and cancels out black's tack threat. Now we'll see if black notices this threat. He does not, and white wins. Again, like I said, under those tight time constraints, it's going to be easy for them to miss because they're focused on playing very quickly. So we do see that white cuts off the threat and makes their own at the same time, and then black missed that threat, tried to make his own threat again of horizontal one his own, and a vertical threat at the same time, and missed the threat from white. And so that's probably going to happen in the next game because both of these competitors, while they are strong players, obviously because they made it to the third place playoffs, they are not used to playing blitz matches. So this is a very different game, having to play very quickly and spot those threats. It's not something they're used to. I played in the Blitz tournament back in 2017, I think, and it was a very different game than than, than regular tech, that's for sure. All right, now we are waiting for game 2. Game 1 goes to nqeron with white, which is to be expected, but it was a missed threat, so it wasn't anything due to an advantage. So we are just waiting for the next seek to come up. Haven't seen any chatter from them about when that will be, so we will take a quick break until they start game 2. All right, the game is up for game 2. Let's see how this goes with nitzel as white. And again, if they do tie here, meaning if nitzel wins this as white, they have to play another 2 games to see who wins it. But these games are so fast that that probably shouldn't take too much time at all. So we see one corner placed, adjacent corners. Let's see if they do the same thing with the mirrored moves. We do see the initial placement of mirrored moves. This is looking just like last game and most games of the tournament and most competitive 6x6 games. Will we see the deviation? We see the same deviation, but this time played by nqeron. Capstone comes out, ready to cut off both north to south and east to west. All right, now black building up this diagonal. Okay, and then the white capstone comes down right here, able to capture over here or over there. Solid positioning for this white capstone, that's for sure. Able to cut off any threat from black right now and join his other positions of power. White making some connections. If white comes over here, okay, I see what he's doing. So white coming over here would be helpful, and then this wouldn't be able to capture up because it's capstone, wouldn't be able to capture over because that would release this piece to be captured. Okay, so strong, building up a lot of positioning power here. Black is trying to make this vertical threat. And I guess he's saving this capstone move until he needs to cut off a threat from white, which is a smart move. Now he can maybe make this move, jump up here with the capstone, and then maybe sneakily throw it. And I typically don't advise that you use sneaky threats in tech because they're very easy to see. But in Blitz, because you got a small time controls, it's a lot harder to see those. So he does have a tack threat here, moving over, that is stopped by white. And black would win this capture war, but to the detriment of leaving this open for white. So if white wants to recapture here, that's what he's got to do. Come over with c4, which is sort of the natural move, but we don't know if that's what he wants to do here. And again, we see nqeron playing above just in the increment, hasn't gone into that 3-minute time, and nitzel's all the way down to 2 minutes. So he's taken a little bit more time on his turn. And he's got to watch that clock, but not be completely controlled by it. Now we see the wall come out early from white, which is interesting. Black immediately goes over and spreads out those pieces, capturing one of white's flats and building a little bit there. There's a attack threat from white. Let's see if black sees it. He does. Moves the capstone over, gets in the way. Will we see white fill in here? Yep, fills in there to continue that attack threat, basically just renew what he already had. Now, black's capstone can move up here. That's probably the move, and that is the move that he went for. Let's see. Where does he take this? Now, white can continue to make more threats. Not immediate threats, but he can start building maybe here at d5. Okay, so he goes for f5 instead. Maybe that's more a defensive move because he doesn't want to have this going up there. I like to d5 a little bit better for white there. And so black fills in at d5. Okay. So it's going to be difficult for both players at this point to make any meaningful threats because both of their positions of power are riddled with opposing pieces. So we've got black flats all around this area. So we'd have to make at least 2 moves in a row to make a threat. So here he's got a connection at both sides, but he'd have to come over and over in order to make a threat here. So he can't do it in just 1 move. He has to do 2 moves to make a threat. The same with white. He can't make a threat here. He'd have to come over and then over to make that threat. So black comes up, makes a threat, and cuts off white's road here. Strong spot. White comes up at the capstone, blocks off that road threat. Black continues the road threat by placing here at e4. White cuts that off, makes their own threat. Let's see if black sees it. It's an easy one to miss when you're focusing on your own threats. It's very easy to miss an opponent's road. But nqeron taking his time here, he knows that he's got a little bit more of a buffer than nitzel does. Nitzel's down to 1 minute and 18 seconds. nqeron down to 2.5 minutes. Again, a renewed attack threat from white here. Now, black can move his capstone right down, renew his threat, and stop white's threat. So we could see a capture over, which would not be a renewed attack threat from white, but it would stop black's threat right this moment. And black is capped out on carry limit, so he can move this whole stack, but he can't move any additional pieces, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. So he can move his whole stack, but after that, he won't be able to leave anything behind that he can control. It'll just be these white flats. That's probably not a position he wants to be in. So instead, what he's going to do is he's going to pin this white capstone. He's going to place here this black flat, pin that capstone. Not a great move because now we get another white threat here. So he can place here to cut off the threat and make his own. Okay, instead he captures over. Maybe he's baiting this white capture of this capstone. I don't know why he would want to do that. That's a really solid move for white, and it doesn't really do much for black. It hurts him more than anything else. White can make threats. White can basically win here by going down this way, so he needs to block that threat, which he has done. But now white can maybe build here at a4 and threaten that direction. Now white has built at a4 and has threatened that direction. So black may not see that. Maybe he does. Nitzel again down to 1 minute. We see the wall come out to block that. nqeron is not going to get caught by a sneaky road threat. At least that's what he's trying to say to himself. White filling in back here. It makes me think that he's going to move this capstone stack over here to e4 to make a threat this direction. If he does that, he'd probably want to fill in here first at e3 so that a wall can drop down or something like that. So he probably wants to fill in here at e3 to stop this tack threat also, because this is a current tack threat. All right, that threat has been neutralized. So black can just place here and make another tack threat. And that would be kind of sneaky because he could place here and then think that, oh, if I place here, it's canceled. No, it's not. Capturing over or capturing down does complete that threat. So this is, while it seems like an easy threat, it's a little sneaky. Okay, and so white cuts off the threat. Cannot make its own tack threat at this point, but very close to one. But black, again, can move this whole stack. But after he does that, anytime he moves this stack in the future, we'll have to leave a white flat behind. So that capstone would effectively be pinned. All right, so black taking his time, placing here at b2, saying, all right, I'll just start going for this threat now. Going to go in this direction. And white's got to hurry up. He's only got 20 seconds left on the clock, and nqeron has a minute. And again, they have a 5-second increment. So if they make their moves within 5 seconds... Okay, I'm not seeing... Okay, that is a tack threat for white. It's a sneaky threat, but it does exist. Throwing down here with this stack, he can connect from here all the way to here. Solid move, one that I don't think I would have seen in this short amount of time controls. Now, okay, and nqeron saw it, and he made the connection. And this wall move is great. It's brilliant because he can throw this up here, make this connection with this capstone as his central location, go for this threat this direction. And I would do that now. Nitzel again down to 8 seconds. I think we're going to see a timeout here in just a moment. We're seeing threats and threats and threats. Will we see him throw this flat over? This is a game about speed right now. Nitzel just trying to make up time on the clock. He is making a threat here, and it's a sneaky one. Black missed it. White can take the win right here. And he takes the win. Fantastic. All right, let's look at that again, because it was sneaky. So he makes this move, and black is thinking, okay, he's doing something this direction. I'll stop it this direction. Nope, he's not. He's leaving a black here, dropping a white here, and dropping his capstone here. Boom. Making that throw. Fantastic move. Great way to end that game. That was solid. And so nitzel takes game 2. This means they play another pair of games to see who's moving on. And well, not who's moving on, who's taking third place. So I will check with them to see what their timetable looks like, if they're going to be playing right now or taking a break or what have you. And we'll see how that goes. All right. The seek for the overtime rounds is up. And so this is how this is working. So they played their 2 games, but since they each won a game, they will play pairs of games until one of them wins both games in a pair. So at this time, nqeron is going again as white. And then nitzel will be white in the next game. And if one of them wins both games in this pair, that's it. If they each win a game in this pair of games, just like they did in the last pair, we go again, and they play 2 more games. Again, the last Blitz tournament in 2017 went overtime in four sets of overtime games, so it was 10 games total between Apple Monkey Man and me, Simmon. All right, we're seeing the exact same pattern again. This is the same opening, all 3 games in a row. Adjacent corners mirrored this deviation and this deviation. That's crazy. It seems they really like that opening pattern. We see the first tack threat from white. Black coming over the capstone as expected. Will white fill in here? No, he's going across. Black going for his horizontal threat. White might be placing here at b6 to make his own. No, he's going down and around, trying to block off black's threat. Black going around him, making another horizontal threat here for black. No threat from white at this point, so black can keep building down here and stair step it down to e2. Which is what I would do because placing flats, solid, also blitz game. You want to play quick. You want to get those flats out there. You want to get more board control. You want to set yourself up for the long haul. He's probably thinking, maybe I can set up for a Tinue pattern or something like that. Instead, he plays down here for a vertical threat. White drops the capstone. If he didn't play here, he probably would have played here, and then the capstone might have dropped there. So we see a vertical threat from black coming down straight, ready to place a D1. I'm assuming white sees it. Yes, white did see it. Capstone blindness is a real thing, though. So I wouldn't be surprised to see black play here at F4, make a threat in that direction just by capturing up here with E3 to E4 would be a tack threat. So F4 is a good move for nitzel here. Instead, he's going to continue on and make these vertical threats. We see a vertical threat from white. If you could hear my daughter screaming in the background, she doesn't seem pleased with this development here. I think it's a different reason. So D6 down to E2 is what we're looking at here. And black does cut that threat off, but it's immediately recaptured, and the threat is made. This is not looking good for black. Black's going to have to do something to get out of this. Throwing this capstone over wouldn't really do it because it will leave a white here that could then connect with that capture. Instead, okay, so we saw a couple moves here while I was on mute and comforting my crying daughter. So I missed the action. Let's go back for a second. All right, so we see the capture over, and then the capstone comes up predictably, wall, flat, recapture. Okay. So no tack threat here. Now we see a tack threat again. This loopy little tack threat down here at C1 to D6. Unusual pattern. And he missed it. White wins. So black missed the threat again. Instead, just placed here. Probably thinking that he needed to play in this spot because it was a loopy sort of out of the way line, not traditional and a little harder to see than usual. So it was, especially when there's nothing here blocking the thread. So it's easier to see if it's like going around a capstone or something or a wall. But in this case, it was just going around an empty spot. So yeah, that's definitely harder to see, and I can see why he missed that threat. He what he probably wanted to do is move this capstone down onto C3. Yeah, that would probably be his go-to move at that point. But instead places it D4, and that's the game. So game 1 goes to nqeron. We will see how game 2 goes, or rather game 3 goes to nqeron, and now we'll see how game 4 goes with nitzel playing as white. Last game with nitzel playing as white, we did see it as a much closer game than the 2 previous games. So nqeron looks to be a slightly stronger player here in this blitz format. And he's also got a lot more years of experience, and so that could be part of it. But we'll see how he plays in this one now that they've had basically 3 games to get used to this whole blitz setup. And so we'll see if maybe Nitzel can pull out something surprising here in this next game. And if he does, then we'll go on to even more overtime games. So we'll see if Nitzel can bring it to game 5 and 6. So which would be exciting. I'm not gonna lie, that would be fun. Currently, I think we've been going for about 30 minutes, and so they're chit-chatting a little bit about the game before they start in the second one. There we go. they're complaining because at the beginning here, starting off with this, apparently Nitzel likes to play with adjacent corners this way, and nqeron likes to play adjacent corners this way, or vice versa, and they're each complaining that they're playing 90 degrees off, and they don't like that. So, entertaining, for sure. All right, so here we go. Game 4. Nitzel as white, nqeron as black. Nitzel needs to win this game if he wants to take it to more overtime. nqeron needs to win this game if he wants to win this right now. So the door is open for nqeron, and it's ready to close for Nitzel. All right. I'm going to guess we're going to see some adjacent corners, probably here and here, or here and here. Then we'll see some mirrored moves, followed by a deviation and a capstone, cutting it off. You know, something tells me we're going to see that again 4 times in a row. Here we go, the adjacent corners. Will we see a mirrored move? We see a mirrored. Will we see a mirrored move? Ooh, deviation first. How is he going to play it? Instead, black goes across with the diagonal connection. Will we see white drop a capstone? We do. Okay, this capstone here is strong. Great spot for white. Can capture over, can capture up. Potentially not a great move for black to make that diagonal, give it a position for white to drop at such a strong capstone. We could probably see white build up here at b5, kind of solidify. Okay, goes for a5 instead. Solidifying an anchor point here is important for white. Playing at b5 probably would have been better. Yeah, it would have been better. It would have allowed for a connection to a6 no matter what black did, but instead it's going to require a capture in order to make this anchor point a reality for him. So I would not be surprised to see white play here at c5 for really strong base. Now he doesn't really have that option to do that, to make this sort of citadel here in this corner. Citadel being a 2x2 square. So he's doing that anyway. He's saying, all right, I'm going to take this. I'm going to make sure I have this strong anchor point. Or he's saying, I'm just going to capture over onto b5 from a5 to make my connection that way. I would not be surprised to see a capture up from the capstone in the next 2 turns. Ooh, he comes down with it instead. Okay, interesting play. I would not have expected him to come down. I would have expected an over instead. So we see black does capture over. Probably going to drop a capstone here or here. I'm guessing here. Capstone. Drops it. And now white wants to spread this out, not give his whole stack. No matter what, black is probably going to move that capstone up, capture here onto b5, and get this flat back. This captive is going to be freed, and it's going to cut off that threat. Now, good spot here for black. I wouldn't be surprised for white to play b6 here, or to go ahead and move the capstone up. Moving the capstone up is good because it kind of keeps it in the game, allows it to come across and cut off here or here, whatever black is doing. Because black can make a pretty strong threat here pretty soon. Okay, instead he's going around it. Just going to accept this casualty, I guess, because black can move that capstone down. So we might see black play here at b6 or down here at a2 or b1 to basically make this connection here. Okay, instead he throws it across. Now white's capstone has to come up here. He's got to, yeah, so he blocks this capstone from coming across down into his road, blocks this black piece from coming across here, also continually makes his own tack threat. Okay. Ooh, that moving that capstone over is a juicy move, but he might want to start with, okay, he's dropping a wall instead. Okay, he's taking no chances here. I would have started maybe with this flat here and then come across with the capstone afterwards for the double capture, since there's 2 captives under there. So we would have had 3 white pieces underneath his capstone, which would have been very strong. All right, black filling in and also trying to make his own threats. This is looking scary for black here, because this piece is pretty strong. This might be a Tinue pattern. I think we're seeing a Tinue pattern here for white. If he leaves white flat here, captures over, he can keep capturing back and forth until the game is won. No, he missed it! He missed Tinue! Oh no! Oh no, he had the win. Oh. Oh, that's heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking. I'm positive he had the win here. So if he had left a white flat here, captured up, the only stopping move would have been capturing down, which he could have. Yep, that was Tinue. Oh, and he missed it. That's a shame. Black going ahead and building down, going vertically. He's probably thanking his lucky stars right now that white missed that Tinue pattern. See white going ahead and building down here, saying, I want to make my own threat. Black makes the first tag threat. How will he capture? Will he keep this hard capstone? I would want to keep that hard capstone, that's for sure. And he does keep the hard capstone. That's a good play there. Black capturing over with the wall. Gets 2 friendly captives there that he can release. He can liberate them. White wants to probably play here at b3, but it's not the best move since it's immediately going to get covered up. He'll probably want to play somewhere else instead. But it's starting to look pretty good for black now. After white missed the Tinue. Oof, that is hard. That is hard. Interesting placement for white. Doesn't give him any sort of threat. Yeah, I'm confused a little bit about it, but maybe I'm missing something. Now, if he plays at c3 next, nope. Okay, confused again. What's he doing? Because c3 would have been a connection here and would have made this tack threat that could be potentially missed. Maybe he's playing along over here to maybe make it sneakier. Not sure what he's going for here. I am confused with what white's doing. So this is looking a lot better for black right now than it is for white. Despite, I think, white even might have the flat advantage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, definitely not. Okay. Yeah, black definitely has the flat advantage here. White is at a disadvantage both positionally and via flats and via time. It's only got 30 seconds. It does not look like nitzel is going to pull this one out and take us to more rounds. It looks like We're going to have nqeron take third place by winning here as black in this game. And he's setting up his own threat, very similar to white's threat earlier with this wall placement here. It's very close to Tinue, but it is not a Tinue pattern because white has this capstone here. And there we see him use it to his advantage. Black coming down, ready to capture this stack and cut off white's threats. A little surprised she didn't just place a flat here. I feel like that would have been much better than dropping his capstone down prematurely. Nitzel has got to play quick. He's only got 11 seconds left on the clock. He throws up, makes those captures, covers up. He's got to play very quickly here and hope he can come up with something. Play quick. You got 1 second. No. And the game is over. Black wins, and nqeron takes third place in the US TAC Open. Those blitz timers, man, they are killer. They get you. And I'm sure it's going to be even more painful once I let nitzel know that he missed a Tinue. I'm going to feel bad about it, but not bad enough that I'm not going to tell him. There it is. There's his Tinue. Oh, goodness. Right here at turn 17. He made the move that gave him Tinue at turn 17, and then he blew it on turn 18. So, fun games for sure to watch. Time to break the news to nitzel. And congratulations to nqeron for winning third place in the US TAC Open. Again, that makes the standings of Fwibib winning first place in the tournament, getting beautiful stone tack pieces, and No Hat Coder winning second place in the tournament, winning beautiful wooden tack pieces, and nqeron taking third place, winning the very fancy metal wolf and hawk capstones that I have a set of because I won a blitz tournament. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and see you next time, maybe in the next tournament.